You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream. This is AFTERBUZZ TV for Boardwalk Empire. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest Boardwalk Empire news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AFTERBUZZ TV for Boardwalk Empire.
Hey, everybody. I'm going to say it's me hosting the show tonight. It's Tamara.
Because you have a voice.
Yes, because I have my sexy voice for probably a couple more days. Figure might as well use it while we can.
Better than no voice last week,
It is.
right?
Last week was a little bit ridiculous. I'm joined in studio tonight with Bethany Jaber, Kevin Undergaro. I have to look at each of you to remember who you are. Michelle Macedo and John Comerford. We're here for Boardwalk Empire episode 12, season 2. Is that right? The finale. We know that much. So it's the finale of season 2. And let's just say, wow.
The title, To the Lost or To the Last?
To the Lost.
To the Lost.
To the Lost.
That's how Jimmy toasts.
To the Lost.
Pours the whiskey out, says To the Lost.
Yes.
Because we are remembering a lot of things that got lost.
Golly, no kidding, right?
Yeah.
You guys, everyone really reacted to this episode. I mean, I know even we all kind of knew watching it that something bad had happened because most of us watched it later
Yeah.
than normal. And I know everyone's Twitter accounts were just blowing up.
Yeah.
With people warning, "Oh my God, I can't believe it!"
And your comment was,
I know. And then I was like, oh, did it? Like, I didn't know at what time you were watching.
We just
it, but
watched it
my
now.
heart is broken.
Yeah.
And
I warned you. I told you he was going to lose. You didn't want to listen to me. Didn't want to listen.
And then I lost my entire evening, which I usually don't do, to like Googling, Facebooking, IMDbing Pro, trying to find out any information I could if this was the truth. And it is. It's true. There's no coming back from this. I was hoping.
But
I couldn't
did
see
you know
coming
that?
back.
How do I know that?
What if it's a dream or something?
It's not a dream because for a couple of reasons. We see him shot in the face.
I know.
And then they do the going to heaven bit where you see him as a soldier, and then the camera pans up to the sky. And thirdly, I read an interview with Terrence Winters which says he's gone.
That's the definitive answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think from a filmmaking perspective, they definitely let us know.
Time for Michael Pitt to become a movie star.
Right,
Like
exactly.
the perfect transition over.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
He is extremely good looking.
Excellent.
I'm really glad. I'm really looking forward to him having a different hairdo.
Yeah,
That's what I'm looking forward to.
I just don't, I think for the writers, it's bold and it's brash, and I love this kind of writing because they're like destroying their creations. I mean, it's the idea that like art is perishable. You take it, you make it, and then you get rid of it.
I'm curious about.
But I'm just wondering how they can salvage it now.
Well, they have enough to work with.
I mean,
but
there's
it
so
was such
many
a great
villains.
storyline. But I'm curious as whether or not he was from the get-go. They knew that at the end of the second season he's going to be out.
Right, I wonder
Because
too.
he's not.
He's a fictional
authentic
character, right?
Fictional character. He's a fictional character. So they might have did this to move Nucky's story along, but knowing full well that they would have killed him off at the end of the second
I was
season.
thinking the same
Just
thing.
curious whether
actually,
that
yeah.
It was just, it's such a major step, and I'm just, I don't want to jump around, but because to me, Nucky now is a villain. It's like he's solidified. Before it was, he was playing this game, he was good to it, right, and he was good to his loved ones,
right.
and then,
but even this time he's helping little Emily walk. Look how they're
But
really trying to balance.
But wasn't that don't you think that was part of his?
I'm sure it was part of it, but the fact that he did it, because just that they showed it. They don't show the good things that he does. Not really.
No, they do, John. They'll show like he'll give money to poor people.
But that's always with an agenda.
That's
It's
right.
always
But this
the
was
reason.
with an agenda, though.
But what I'm saying, I don't think they showed the agenda this time. I think they let it up to us to decide. We didn't. It's not like he. The other times why
right.
he's given the money. This time they didn't really show.
But
him
I think by
setting it up for her to see all this and all that other stuff.
Agreed. But what I think is at the end when he's over Jimmy with the gun.
Oh, that yeah.
And just what took place in that last scene, to me, it's that I think he's helping the kid walk or whatever because he knows, all right, I got to go a little further to get Margaret on my side.
I agree with
And I think he's
Yeah.
taken, and I think when he's, I don't know if you guys remember the shot, it's a close-up of him. There's the fan on in the background, and he says, I have a decision to make. And to me, there was a lot of heaven and hell going on here.
Sure.
Yeah.
The heat, it was getting hotter and
Everything's
hotter and hotter.
absolutely.
And it was like, I have a decision to make. Am I going to be good or am I going to be evil? And I think he's decided that he's going to be evil. And that's where I felt like what a step for his character because...
But I see, I want to think that he didn't just help Emily just for Margaret, only because I think it makes for a much more layered character. I want him to be trying to be that good as well as being that evil.
Well, I do too because he's more ambiguous and that makes a better character. And it makes me like him and root for him. I don't want to. I can't root for him if he's
too evil and
doesn't have any attachments to anybody.
So I
do
think
you guys know? From a writing standpoint, would they tell the actor Michael Pitt or anything if they plan on killing him in the second season?
Sometimes they get hired that way. You're going to be on for 2 seasons, and that's it.
I can actually answer it because it's in the article.
Well, there you go.
And I think they were really torn about what was going on, and they didn't know if it was going to be Eli or Jimmy, and about but they felt like it was veering that way. And around episode 9, Terrence said he came to the decision, and he previous to that, Jimmy kind of came into his office, or Michael Pitt, same person, kind of, and said, what's going on here? Like, what's happening? Is it me or Eli? And Terrence was like, I don't know. And then episode 9 came about, and then they kind of, that was the turning point for him, he said. So I found that interesting.
Most uncomfortable position to be in as a showrunner.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
So hard.
And even in the HBO
Nucky.
to go segments, Alaska Palladino talks about the episode where about how she feels about letting go, and that Terrence called her before the next episode because he didn't want it getting to her any other way, and what ended up happening was he realized he called her right before her big party scene and was like, oh my God, what a horrible thing to do to an actor. You don't have a job, but it's right. He was like, I can't believe I just did that. Yeah. But yeah, as a showrunner, it's a hard position to be in. But when you make great shows, I wonder
if it didn't help his decision knowing that Michael Pitt's so young and has such strong leading man qualities, and I think clearly he's going to go on to have a great career. Yeah. And Eli, you're not so sure. I mean, I think he'll work. I think a lot of the actors come up.
He's always going to work.
He'll work, but I think maybe I don't know. Who knows?
I wonder what
if that figured in. I don't know.
What at the core of it is the real reason.
Well, usually those kinds of things, it's always blood is thicker than water. So you would think that Eli would have the nod anyway, just because they don't kill their family.
Well, Eli is so not there. The quote about Julius Caesar.
Yeah. To Eli.
Some comedy in there. Yeah.
And he was like, what?
Was his name Eli?
There's a character named Eli in Shakespeare.
That was beautiful.
Do you notice how Nucky, at this point, maybe with the exception of Jockey, he's just surrounded by really shitty people who don't have good intentions for him anymore.
Oh, yeah.
If you notice, everyone around him.
I don't know. But did he ever?
Well, I think Jimmy did somewhat have decent intentions. I think they started out with decent intentions. I think Eli was jealous, but still was like, okay, you're my brother.
We're family.
Right. Yeah.
It's almost as if the closer you get to Nucky, the meaner he is to you. And so from the exterior on the outside, like the neighborhood, the Teamsters, everything, he's really good to those people. But the closer you get to him, the more volatile that relationship is.
Yeah, well, the closer you get, the more dangerous you are.
Exactly.
And at least in Hollywood's version of mobsters, isn't it so true that this is what we always see?
Yeah.
Yes.
As they start picking more people off, and it's just that.
Well, that's the labyrinthian. That's the Dante's hell. The deeper we go into the hell and all that other stuff, different layers.
Can you demensa that for us?
No.
Okay.
It almost was if all of Nucky's issues kind of took care of themselves. Like it was magical in that sense. Like from like Jimmy just took care of all of it, and it just like there. I mean, he does kind of have golden balls. Like in some sense, Nucky is just he's just very lucky. I wonder if there is something in that. Like
for how much she.
Well, I don't know how lucky it was. I mean, there was gold in there because they were paying.
That's what I was just going to say.
I don't know. You know, it's
not.
not. Here's what I think it is. I think he's okay. I'm not seeking forgiveness. He just said it there.
Exactly.
Jimmy was conflicted.
Yeah,
and that's why he walked in at the end. He knew when he got that call. He knew they were going to kill him. He went in there unarmed.
I didn't want Richard to go with him.
That's right, and he said, Richard, please keep trying.
Absolutely.
Keep trying to make it.
He was making his peace with everybody.
Gave the dog tags away to the son.
Exactly.
Made sure his son was going to be taken care of
financially. He watched the mother, Mimi. You know, I love her like version of mommy named as she's known. Okay,
really
she'll have some kind of mother.
Yep.
And he'll have some kind of mother, and he's going to be a soldier. He said
he's better off
he's going to be a
without me.
cowboy or soldier.
exactly.
He'll be a soldier. He'll fight on. And everyone's better off without me because I died in that trench anyway.
Exactly.
So I tried to work it out with Nucky, who was my father, who we said earlier on.
Yes.
And when Nucky makes that call, he knows Nucky's not having it.
No.
And by the way, there was so much foreshadowing. I had the luxury of watching this twice, and I wish we could do this every week. Watch it twice before we go up. But we like the urgency for our fans to get up fast. But when you watch it twice, everything makes so much more sense. You know, Richard says to him right as they're leaving the Klansmen, they're leaving Chalky's headquarters. He says, "He's never going to forgive you."
Yeah.
So go ahead, give this money away, and you bring him. He's never going to forgive you, like Richard knew.
Yeah.
Like no matter what you do.
Well, I think he knew early on once he killed the Commodore. Well, probably before he even says, I should have never agreed to the Commodore's idea of betraying you. He knew pretty much a few weeks after that, I screwed up.
And he said, when the mom's starting to coach him for his next meeting, he said to her,
"No more advice, Mom.
No more advice, Mom. I know what you do. I know, and in what you've already done.
Yep.
And I've had enough of it.
He's finally seen the players.
Right, and I'm not listening to you anymore. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go finish this.
I thought it was great though at the ending. I know we're jumping around, but I liked the way he was quote teaching Nucky how to get through killing him.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Which it just showed
the student to become the mentor.
Yeah,
and he
such
still
strength.
Yeah, it showed great strength, but then he still didn't even know Nucky, even after all this.
That's what he said. This is what you don't know me. I'm not. And the whole episode, if you notice, Hans, he's in the synagogue, and we have the priest.
Yeah.
And even the way the prosecutor is talking to Margaret, she's saying, and by the way, she says, I need a cherry ice on boiling. It's the red, and it's whatever cherry would mean.
The whole thing about the swelter.
And I'm boiling. It's hell.
The heat's coming down. The hell. Everything.
And the
rain washes it away and purifies.
And she says, set yourself free.
Yep.
Basically rat on him. Set yourself. She's talking like a priest, and so it's just very interesting. We're getting all this back and forth, about heaven and hell, and about faith and this and that, and then just Nucky being like, no. You see, this is where you're wrong. I'm not seeking forgiveness.
Yeah.
That's right.
He doesn't have any qualms about the morality
of
it.
This is where you don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's to us as the audience too.
Yeah.
This is where you guys all had me wrong. Maybe
But how much of his speech to her do you think was authentic?
To Margaret's?
Yeah, just the whole there's more God in the love I feel for you and these children.
I really want to believe that.
I'd like to think it's true.
Yeah,
I think in his mind
he's believing it.
Yes.
I kind of feel he's a bit of a sociopath in the sense that it's true in the moment to him.
Yeah.
Like there's no, I mean, it's absolutely, she's, and I love that she chooses the kitchen as her place for comfort.
I know, I thought that too.
That's
and the tea kettle boiling.
Yeah,
the whistle going.
It's another
more
build
heat
that's happening. It's building that tension. She's comfortable in the kitchen. She hasn't fully adapted into this white collar lifestyle. And he's just, I think he believes it when he says it, and that's about it. But he can turn around in an instant and say something else next week. Which
but I don't think he has a problem. I think he
just
really completely compartmentalizes it. I don't think he understands the totality of it, nor does he want to.
And you know what?
It works for him.
And to your point, John, Jimmy was kind of saying that to him.
Yeah.
When your booze is gone,
Yes.
when your power is gone, it's just you're going to be the only person left to judge you is you.
Yep.
And that's, you know, because he is only in that moment.
Yeah.
He's taking every little thing as it comes. And Jimmy was like Jimmy was more the God, you know, seeing the big picture of this. Like, oh,
well, because he's already made his peace. He knows he's moving.
He's moving on.
If you watch that scene carefully, once Jimmy says that and once he's shot, the camera goes to the angle from the soldier's statue point of view.
Oh, yeah.
And
Which
it
I love.
has
And
a
by the way,
godly point of view.
and by the way, I love this show. When have you guys ever, in a movie, seen it? But I've never even seen a photo of a war memorial being erected. I've seen statues. I always look at statues. I'm one of those geeks. If it's a Civil War one, or down south, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And in the Northeast, we have ones for the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, they're all over.
And you see them everywhere, but I've never seen one with staging all around it. And actually, you think like, oh yeah, I guess they would have built this at some point in time. So I've never seen that, you know, and of all places to bring him.
Yeah.
For his demise. But you know what's funny with the prosecutor? When she says with Nucky, it's a close-up shot where she says, "It matters that Enoch Thompson goes to jail."
When she's talking to
Margaret.
Oh, yeah.
When she's talking to
I
Margaret.
saw the Van Alden in her.
So so
Like,
it's either something she has against him from the past or some people like him.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
That
she's righteousness in her. So.
And it's personal now with her.
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
It's only going to, and it's obviously going to increase.
Well, and that also, you know, what did she say when Margaret asked her, is it hard to become a lawyer? Not if you're determined.
Yeah.
So again, it's
Not
sort
if
of
you
speaking
don't
to
take
that
no
character.
for an answer or
Right,
whatever.
exactly. Kind of speaking to that character that she has of, you know, I'm going to get my man. I'm going to do my thing.
I thought the way they handled her preparing for her opening statement.
It was very much, was it Godfather 2?
Exactly.
Right.
It's Godfather 1. It's every Godfather.
Yeah, that's right.
They do it all of them.
Right.
Yeah, that's very
That's right. You're right. Even at 3, you're right.
Excuse me. Coppola.
Coppola.
Like, what filmmaker doesn't want to make that scene?
no,
I want to
who
make that scene.
Who directed this
nice.
episode?
It's
I
so.
thought and the words
Sorry,
they
Van.
the
was
words
Van
they were
Patten.
choosing to
It was
use
Van
during the
Patten.
wedding ceremony, a woman should be subject to the man, and
I know they
the
kept-
whole thing.
It was brilliant.
We have a choice and all that other stuff. I thought that was really well done.
It's like, this
Absolutely.
trading
Like,
with the church.
This is exactly who you are marrying.
Yeah.
Like, these are all the crimes that he's committed. This is like who he is, and it's
And you're
done,
subject to
and
him.
it's binding.
Because you have no choice because you're just a woman.
Because you're just a woman.
Yeah.
And then at the end, she shows, well, actually, I do have a little bit of a choice.
Now I wanted to talk about that. That moment was she? Do you think she was trying to save her soul, save Nucky's soul, pay back the priest?
I
What
think
do you
she's
think her
trying to pay back
motivation
to-
was?
Land-
I think she's trying to find her way back
Guilty?
to her own integrity.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
The way that God works, you guys, that plot of land will probably make up for her Nucky.
Sometimes.
The
Okay.
way that God works.
The way that God works. Okay,
He measures
Okay.
it.
You
in
you heard
plots
it
of
here
land. Yeah.
You know,
on the
the-
AfterBuzz. This is how God works.
he
That's right. Thank you, Jesse.
when Nucky says, tells her, the rain broke the heat, and
Yeah,
she
rain broke the
smiles.
heat.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did.
Yes.
Like in other words, like it has broken the heat, and so
It's
we're
But
we're
when
gonna
he
leave
came home
hell.
and he says, I was out celebrating or whatever, and she's
Yes.
saying, I believe you. All that stuff about her believing her.
Yes.
I believe
Clearly, I don't. She doesn't believe a word he's saying.
No.
But I'm now, and I think I don't. That he knew that she didn't believe him, and I'm going, something. He now has lost because he no longer trusts her. I think he's lost respect for her. Because the one thing that I thought that he really loved about her was that
her
she,
honesty?
her honesty, and
Yeah.
her integrity. And now that it's compromised, and he's the one that's compromised it. Of course, she had a big hand in that. I don't think he can respect her now.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
why
true.
should he? They're married.
Of course.
Right.
Thank you for setting me straight on that.
Ow!
Yeah.
Ouch!
Sure.
Once he's Jimmy's enlisted in the army. In fact, he left immediately.
Yeah.
And you see that look from her.
Yeah, she knows.
And she's like, okay, that means
Yeah,
This is
she
where we
knows.
go from
I
here.
have to fix. Yeah, I've got to fix this. You're clearly.
But why the
just-
church? I mean, it's like, why did you give it to the church?
But John, that's what they all do.
Yeah, I know.
Because
Especially
she's
back
Catholic.
then.
But
Today
I-
it would be.
I know, but-
Practicing Catholic.
Today they would have sent it to Oprah.
Well, here's the thing. I was thinking,
Yeah.
well, because what is she, what does she, what ill does she fix? I mean, if it's just because that's how God works, I just like, it just seemed
I
like
mean,
that's
yeah.
too easy of a choice. I wanted her to do something else with it that puts her in more jeopardy or has more leverage against Nucky. Because now it's just,
Right, it was
not
a
hers.
pretty-
It's not Nucky's. It's like, sorry.
Well, it was a pretty simple choice.
Whereas you don't really get to. What do you do with that? How do you
Well, here's
follow
what
that as a storyline?
well, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
What I do like though, John, is I love the realism of the show,
Mm-hmm.
and again, how I grew up. That's exactly what would have gone down. And by the way, it was so funny when my dad was experiencing some problems with like City Hall.
Yeah.
Our priest went with him.
Yeah.
That's
To go and
really
speak.
funny.
It was
It's-
a legal matter, and it was
Right.
the same thing.
Absolutely.
So, and this is, by the way, this is like in the
60s or 70s?
late 70s, early 80s, at the end of all this. So just imagine this was the peak of it.
Yeah.
And I know
I don't disagree.
my
that that's what
grandfather
would
used to
normally
say that
happen. I'm
cons-
just saying, I don't think it was interesting for me
Well-
in terms
well-
of the storyline.
well, okay,
I'm not
but-
saying it's not accurate.
But remember,
I'm saying
Nucky's he's back in business, but he's other than getting that $3,000 for the guns, that little he was busted. Okay, and so like this was huge for him. All
Right.
those acres, he's worked.
Oh yeah, clearly.
Basically 2 seasons to have this highway done.
yes.
He's knocked off all his and now
yeah.
he's got like basically.
I know it's great for Nucky, but
I'm saying it's not great now because
I mean it's great for his Nucky storyline.
he
not that
just
it's
had
great
his,
for Nucky.
he just had his I think he just has his nuts chopped off
I
financially.
agree. But I wanted her to hang on to it and hold it over him. Or
Well,
something.
wait a
That's
second.
what I
Well,
wanted.
we don't know. Well, we don't know. She said Katie sent it right away.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's going to happen to the priest, and we know he calls the priest by the first name.
Oh sure.
We know Nucky. It doesn't. So
Yeah.
I can't see that being over.
Oh, there will be repercussions.
I
for
know,
this,
but
of
I
course.
wanted her to hang on to it in some way.
I understand.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Because now it's not hers anymore. I don't
Right,
believe
so
that.
she can't manipulate
Yes,
with it.
exactly.
And
She can't
yeah.
try
Yeah.
to do anything with it.
She
So-
has. I think she has
But-
enough.
But
I
they're
mean, not enough,
married,
but
and he's.
power.
I
that
think
power.
this is going to cause such a reaction from him because
Yeah.
this was everything to him.
That everything.
I would
he
be
was
And
doing.
so
So
they're gonna
pissed.
they'll be at each other, cats and dogs. And is he gonna kill? I want to see how he's gonna handle this priest now.
Yeah.
I so want Margaret Schroeder to kill Nucky. I am ready for that day.
Oh, will you stop with this
I'm
kind of
so-
talk?
That's where I'm at. That's how I feel.
Historically, it's not gonna happen.
Damn it.
Move on. I told you. Are you gonna listen to me
I
now
know,
for the
I'm
next
not
5
doing-
seasons?
yeah,
Are we gonna go
I
through this?
I feel
She
what
wants
I
Margaret
feel,
to
Kevin.
kill. She wants Margaret to kill.
To kill?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you can't have Margaret killing.
Yes, it needs to happen.
No, somebody's got
She
to
could
have some sort
could
of.
poison someone.
and her son sees
Boy.
it. That would be really crazy.
I mean, it could happen. I don't see her shooting.
By the way,
anybody.
speaking of sons, is Jimmy's son? Is it just symbolic that he's gonna kind of go on in the father's footsteps? Are we done with him and
The kid?
Mom, Mimi?
Until he hits about 13.
Well,
yeah.
what about Mimi? I mean, are we
No,
done with
she'll-
her?
You know,
Gretchen Mo?
No,
Well, she'll try.
no.
She would do
she's not gonna
anything she
handle
could
this
to
well
find
at
her
all.
way back in. Of
course.
She knows
But
Nucky.
she's got her money now, though.
yes, she does.
Does she?
But-
Well, because the
she's
grandson
gonna be the
gets the
guardian
estate,
of the
Well, that's
grandson.
true.
so
yeah.
she'll have all
what
the
is
money.
she gonna
Or-
do
or
if she
so
can't
she thinks.
manipulate people though?
I do know that the
Oh,
next
Luciano.
season is going to start a little bit in the future, maybe in like 1923 or something like that.
okay.
Because right now we're in 1921, and I know that if they take after like any other period pieces like Downton Abbey, I know that's like 4 years later.
Mm-hmm.
So we might. It's possible that we'll see the sun rise. I mean,
I'm just curious
if they really jump around.
Or if it's just you're going to be a soldier and we just know he's going to kind of be okay. But I was wondering if that whole be a soldier thing is like,
Well, he's not gonna
if
be
the
okay
battle's going to
regardless
carry on
because- well,
he's got Mimi,
Exactly. That he'll never be okay because he's got Mimi running his,
his deal.
maturation. But you always want to have the sins, end up having to be dealt with by the son. So I would love it if he came back in and took over and.
Might be
gotta-
one of those things at the very, very
I'm-
end of the series.
Yeah, you've
Yeah.
got to fast
Here's-
forward an awful lot in
You
order
do.
for that to happen.
Here's my question for y'all.
Yeah.
Jimmy clearly knows he's going. Like I think one of the first his second scene, one of his first lines is when they're reading the will and he's like, "Okay, but then who does the estate
Right.
go to if I'm gone?" And he's my
And the
son.
mom's like, "Don't say that."
But here's the thing. I'm just curious how he can leave his son with her after the
Yeah.
abuse that he's experienced.
And
Like,
in the previous week,
doesn't that
I think
It's
that
horrible.
it's so much trauma that
That's- yeah.
especially then and
he's given
whatever
up.
that it's just like
It's
to
his
block
grief.
it off. It's just
yeah. I think he
better.
felt like as bad as I am and as bad as she is, my kid's
Better
worse
off.
off if I'm around
Yeah.
than if I'm not.
Right.
Okay, that's
all
fair.
I can think of.
Considering that his wife is dead because of him,
Everything.
then
Yeah, all of that decision.
I can buy that.
Do you guys, with the, this is a question. I love my Muppet Babies with Lansky and Meyer Lansky and Luciano. When Rothstein takes the call from Nucky, and they're talking about Hans, and Rothstein speaks out loud, was Rothstein doing that purposely to dupe the young Lansky and young Luciano, almost to lull them in a respect, to say, okay, this guy, you can kill this guy Hans if you want, essentially, and they're nodding, only to find out it's their guy Waxy that they're working with that's actually going to be the one to pay.
Yes.
So do you think he was purposely, do you think he knew what was going on, Rothstein?
He always seems to know what's going on.
I mean, he has my favorite.
Everything's very calculated.
Is that because he's Jewish, John?
No, I just think he's very calculated.
No, he's amazing. I love. Yeah. But by the way, again, the difference between the Jewish and the Catholic. Yeah. The Catholic is like, these chinks are gonna, and you just kind of see like Meyer Lansky and Rothstein get uncomfortable, like with really, can we just keep this to business?
Yeah,
exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
This powder's great. We can
personal.
move it through lanterns, but anyway, he's like, he sees the heroin. I thought it was brown.
Yeah.
Is that, you think they were touching on the fact that it would affect the minority community, or was that just a throwaway line?
I wasn't sure.
I never even thought of that.
I thought it was his way of demonstrating that he's not. It was so new; they were not into that business at all. I thought that's how I took it. That he didn't even know what it was in its raw form. I mean, in its
so it's just
form.
simply that. I just wonder when he came up with Brown, and we saw the KKK earlier, and I know the mob was always like, let's sell it, but we'll only let the blacks have it. We'll never let it come into our neighborhoods.
Right.
I was just curious. But my bigger curiosity was if it seemed like he was doing that on purpose to almost like lull those boys, and maybe this will knock them back in line. Like, this is what happens.
Yeah,
I double deal behind all our backs.
That's what I thought it was for. I think what he was trying to say is anybody is expendable. Not that they didn't know that, but the fact that they were standing right there, sitting in that room right there, it's like,
and being stupid, they're like nodding along, like, yeah, kill him. Who cares?
Exactly.
He has the best one-liners in the show. By
He's
far.
amazing.
And I think my favorite quote for the entire series is he says to Nucky on the phone, "Flip a coin. When it's in the air, you'll have your answer."
Yes, that's
right.
Awesome.
And I wonder if that wasn't like a little bit how the creators felt when they were deciding
which way is it going to go?
Which way is this going to go?
Never know.
Just flip a coin.
You guys, is this it for Richard?
No.
Oh, I was just thinking of that before we came in, because I thought, now what are the repercussions of Jimmy being gone? And Richard is an integral part of Jimmy's whole crew.
What would be the reason for him to stay? The only reason why he stayed was for Jimmy.
Right.
Where
does he go?
To have a job. I mean, to be accepted.
Because the only other person he had connected with was Jimmy's wife, and she's dead.
She's gone.
So what? I mean, you'd have to create a whole new thing, which would be great if you did, because I love the character. But we haven't shown any reason for him to stick around.
He did get along with Nucky's family. Remember, didn't he read stories to the kids?
The kids.
And he wouldn't kill Nucky when he had the chance.
No.
So
you just got to make a. You just.
They
can easily bridge.
I hope they do. We like him. By the way, he's a great worker. I mean, if you want to kill her, he's awesome.
Yeah, I want to see his backstory with his twin sister.
Ooh,
I'm thinking about that. I was wondering if they were going to bring it in this season.
But what a tragic story to follow. Now that Jimmy's gone and Jimmy's wife is dead, and to see how he tries to navigate the world when the only thing that he had was holding on to was that relationship,
the loyalty and the friendship that they had.
The only one who could understand him who.
Yeah. That would be interesting to watch.
Because now what would that do to a person?
Yeah.
That's
so maybe
tragic.
So you think maybe we will see him?
I would, if I were writing it, I would love to.
I would love to.
That would be amazing. Because you could really, that's a lot of grist for the mill.
Remember, what about our nice friend Van Alden settling settling in the Midwest?
Amazing.
How fun!
Yeah.
So maybe he's just almost witnessed relocation, like he's just disappeared.
No, he just
Cicero. Sorry.
No, go.
Is Al Capone is going to be Al Capone's like main hotspot for all of his bootlegging. He does all of it in Cicero. So he just happened to end up in.
He's just Breaking Bad in Cicero. Is that it?
Yeah, he's
okay.
So shit's gonna. I mean, it's gonna go down later, but that's where Capone's like main main.
And they did, he's changed his name, so that we know that. And who knows this other girl, like what she's.
I love this nanny.
Does she have any idea what she's getting into?
Yeah,
Hannah the nanny.
I want to just take care of the baby.
Is that so wrong? Just me and the baby.
But again, it's great because it's the time period when you can do stuff like that.
That's what I thought was so great. As I was watching it, I thought, last week we were saying, what's going to happen to Van Alden, because that was the big story that we ended on, and forgetting that we're in this modern age and you can't escape things like that now. You could back then. Absolutely, he could be Mr. Mueller and Cicero.
Nice.
Nobody
live
would
a life.
know.
Nobody would know.
Nope.
Over the weekend, I watched this documentary about Prohibition. So I'm pretty nerdy. But the Muppet Babies grew up. It was about the Muppet Babies.
Yeah.
And mostly about Al Capone. And they had Luciano and everything. It was so crazy.
Oh, what is it? You have
It's
to
the Ken
tell
Burns
us.
one, isn't it?
It's called
John?
Prohibition, yeah.
Yeah.
It's on PBS.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Ken Burns.
And
I've been telling you to watch that for about a month.
Oh.
Of course, I've only seen one episode.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Man, yeah.
I have another question for you all. Why do you think, we know that do we all agree that Jimmy's going there with the intent that he's going to die?
Yes.
Yes, that's why he's bringing his gun.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so but what message is he sending to Nucky by not bringing his gun? Because he could go out with more of a bang. Like, I feel like when we see
There's nothing left to fight for.
Adriana go out,
That's why.
In The Sopranos, at least she's like pleading for there's tension all the
There's
way up.
more strength going out that way.
Yeah.
Not like
nothing left to fight for
crawling
me.
and
And
that.
also, there's no. I've killed enough. I'm done. I can't do anymore.
Yep.
There's no reason. There's no upside to killing Nucky for him because he's a shell of a man to begin with, and he realizes it, and he just wants to be done.
Yeah.
So.
I just wanted to just touch a little bit, not that there's really anything to discuss, but didn't you love how they were weaving it wasn't really a montage, but it was the weaving of the stories of Nucky and Margaret's marriage with Esther's practicing of her thing and Jimmy talking to his crew and them defying him and all of that. The way that they wove those, moments of the story, I just thought that was really impactful and moving and impressive, and I just really like that.
No, and it was great, and
that's what I have to
just
say about
and
that.
her narration. her practicing the case, and that being providing the voiceover for the whole was fabulous.
Yes.
Great filmmaking.
And we wouldn't have seen it if they had gone linearly, because she didn't get to make that statement.
Right.
So that's how we got to see it. So I think we're going to go to commercial for a minute here and come back, and then we have a special segment. We do indeed.
AfterBuzz TV. Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV. AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to be?
I was the first one to have this on.
You're back. Hey, your hair's all messed up. Hey, we're back after commercial. So do we have Mike on the phone right now? Yes?
I'm here.
Hey, this is Mike Rothman, yes?
Yes, that's correct.
Mike
Hey,
Rothman,
Mike,
how
are you? Thanks for calling in. Now, you work for the AOL Tribune, is that right?
No, now Hollywood.com.
Hollywood.com.
Yeah, just
Fancy.
Mike. It's Kevin Undergaro. Mike's great. He's one of our AfterBuzzers. He does a bunch of shows for us, and he gives us a lot of good inside dirt because he's always interviewing different celebrities. And one of the things I love about AfterBuzz is the extremes we go to, because the last time I spoke to you, Mike, it was about breaking down your interview with The Situation. as he sat on a tanning bed. And that was amazing. So quite a jump now to go from that to
the very cerebral Boardwalk Empire.
Yes, to Boardwalk Empire.
A lot more intellectual, a much better interview. Couldn't be a sweeter person. Alexa was great.
So Alexa plays Angela Darmody on the show, right?
Yes.
And so tell us about the interview.
Ironically enough, it was at a casino opening. Believe it or not.
Perfect.
Excellent.
But,
Timely.
She was as sweet as can be. You can tell. I mean, I've read past interviews that she was kind of pretty heartbroken about the whole being killed off. And you could tell, she said it was heartbreaking, and she feels like she's losing a family pretty much.
Michael, do you know how long she knew about that? How many episodes in advance?
Think it's just, she said the way, I think it was Terrence Winter, right, is the writer?
Yes.
Yes.
I think she said the way he goes, it's episode to episode, and that she found out literally probably a couple weeks before. And, for her, I think she'd been crying for weeks leading up to the episode.
Yeah, she seemed really depressed, but either that was good acting or that was really her.
Yeah, it's funny because she surprised me on a couple of questions. I thought it would be a tough thing playing such a dark character, but she said that was actually kind of her release, and it was nice. It was she kind of become kind of a glutton for using this character as an avenue to kind of release all the darkness that was going on in her life.
Like self-indulgent, almost.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said, pretty much.
Did she talk about working with Tim Van Patten or Terrence Winter, and maybe how that differed from working with some other showrunners and directors in Hollywood?
She did a little bit, yeah. She just said that, obviously she touched on, she was torn. You could tell. She was very upset, but I think she's starting to come out of it. She said, obviously, it's such a special show, and from anything she's done before, this pretty much trumps anything she's done before. Just the quality of the writing and the quality of the directing and the cast itself, too. She just said that it just, I don't know. I kind of got the feeling I hope she picks something up soon because, you feel she's really a sweetheart. And I hope cause she's just great. And she definitely, this is a hit.
Well, I think most of the actors that come off these shows, I'd say more than 70 or 80% of them, just go and work in some capacity because it's such a respected project.
Medium,
that they're part of. Mm-hmm. So I would think we'll see more of her.
Has an interesting turn. She's going to probably focus on her music now. She's in a band with her husband called Exit Music, and I think that's her main focus now, her main avenue.
What do you know the name of the band?
Okay, I take that back then about her acting.
Yeah, what was the name of the band again, Mike?
It's called Exit Music, one word.
Exit Music.
And I guess following her exit from the show, she's going to focus on Exit Music.
Exit Music. All right, well, fans, they can try to Google and find Exit Music. I'm not recommending she takes that as a route. I think we need to do both right now. Maybe we'll do that on weekends. I don't know.
If she has a really good team around her, because I feel like half the battle in Hollywood is the team that is promoting you. If she has a good team, she'll be just fine. She can have a long career and do fabulous indies and be an indie goddess. And if she chooses to do more television, I guess that's up to her. But she also needs a mourning time, and a grieving time. And so I imagine in 2 months' time she's probably going to feel a lot differently. But like any loss,
she probably
you let it go.
But it's not like she wrapped production 2 weeks ago. She probably wrapped this.
I guess you're right.
Right?
Yeah, how long
all right,
after?
Listen,
I was
Bethany,
trying to
by the way,
empathize.
Mike, Bethany went in for I think a role today on Boardwalk Empire, right? So if and when this happens for you, please, that's not how you're going to be thinking.
No, not at all. I'm gonna be joyful and happy.
Mike, how long after her character had been killed off were you speaking to her? Were you interviewing her?
I just talked to her this past Saturday. So
it's been a few weeks.
Yeah.
Months.
And Mike,
it's just been a couple of weeks.
Are you a fan of the show too? Of Boardwalk?
I've been getting into it more and more. I don't know. I haven't caught all the way up, but I've been trying to get into more and more. And after speaking to her, I kind of want to watch more.
You know, we've been told by people that I know people that tried the first 3 and just kind of bailed, but I feel like you have to get by that, and then once you do, you're addicted.
I agree with that, absolutely.
For me, it could be polarizing. You know, some people, it's either one side of the coin, either you just absolutely love it, or you know, maybe it takes a while to get into it.
Well, there are a lot of characters and a lot of things to cover in the show. For me, it took until episode 7 before I was really, it turned and I was really hooked. Yeah. I mean, I liked it, but I really it really turned for me on episode 7. So that was kind of the difference for me. So any other dish, any other scoop, Mike?
Did she mention any actors that she liked to work with?
We had to talk about her sexuality, of course, on the show, which is you know, such a key tie with Angela. And she was great. It was always, the question was the chicken or the egg with me, was did it come from the disconnect with Jimmy, or did it come from that's just a natural, her, you know, desire to experiment? And she pretty much summed it up that it was just from Jimmy, because there was no connection there and the gender just kind of faded away, and it was just about making a connection with someone.
By the way, in modern times we see this. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
I was going to say, she said that she could totally relate to the character in so many ways, and this is one way that she could understand, you know, what she was going through.
I call it lesbianism by convenience. You see that a lot today. You see that. I think there's a lot of women out there that there are, of course, genuine lesbians, but there's some who are just so sick and so jilted by men that they're like, you know what, I'm all set. I just rather be with a woman who's not going to abuse me, cheat on me, you know, who gets what I get or whatever. It's interesting that was her interpretation. I wonder if that was Terrence's as well.
Yeah. Nuns and strippers.
Nuns and strippers.
One and the same.
Really?
Yeah, if you think about it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. John's confused on the desk.
Like confessional.
Well,
like
Mike,
confess.
we went way over on our time, so thank you, Mike. And I'm sure over the next few weeks January's coming, so I know there's a ton of new AfterBuzz shows we'll be counting on you for. And
yes, we'll be needing some scoop from
please,
you.
and if you any new dealings with my team on the Jersey Shore, I need to know.
Yes.
I know that's your favorite, man. I got you if I get any connections with that.
Love it. All right, Mike. Thanks buddy.
For calling in.
Hey, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, bye.
Well, shall we go to?
We gotta do predictions.
Predictions?
Yeah, I think we should.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I predict Jimmy's not coming back.
Excellent.
Damn it. Okay.
Damn it.
Got that one out. I don't know. Anybody? The whole world is open from here.
So you read an article that says they're coming back in
in
2 or 3 years.
1923.
Okay.
So I guess I.
So I think Muppet Babies are going to become.
Well, they'll break.
They're going to become more Muppet adults.
Yeah, because
Right.
they're going to
have
get closer there. I think if you want to see Gretchen Mulligan, she may fool around with Luciano again.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a way to
we'll
keep her involved. I don't know about Richard. I hope we see him.
Yeah.
Now we know Van Alden is in Cicero. So as the
How
Muppet
does that
Babies
play
grow
out?
up,
Yeah.
they may become the new enemies. Like that might be the new.
For Van Alden?
No, for Nucky. Because he's wiped everyone out. He's won. So he'll have an enemy within with his wife. Yeah. But I think his external enemies probably will be Chicago and those neighboring places. And we know that, and we know that. I wonder what year Capone takes down his boss.
Right.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know when that
Capone's
is.
gonna start to
And we
come up.
know that Rothstein historically gets it.
Yeah.
And pretty early on in the 20s.
Well, and will that be tied to the heroin versus?
Heroin's going to play. It's going to play a role.
To seeing how that develops. I think that's going to be.
And by the way,
interesting.
did any of you guys know about major heroin trade in the Roaring 20s? I thought it was all booze.
Well, it was mostly because that was the cheap thing to do.
idea.
But I don't know the curve of that path.
No, I don't either. But I mean, it was called the Roaring 20s for a reason.
Yeah, there was-
absinthe as
yeah,
well,
absinthe
and
was there.
Yeah,
and
like
heroin,
anything.
and there was just
Yeah.
Coke,
Yeah.
cola.
Yeah. Well, that's-
That's how it began.
Love
That's how it
that
began,
stuff.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was a crazy, crazy time.
I think they're gonna have to find a character that brings another Jimmy. They're going to have to cast it. They're going to have to find somebody that brings that youth and that sex appeal, because honestly, Michael Pitt is one of the reasons why I watch this show.
You don't get that?
And they have to bring
You don't get that with The Irishman?
No, it doesn't have that same level of volatility and danger. And so they're going to have to find another Michael Pitt, which is going to be really hard.
I think it's going to be The Irishman that's going to fill that role. It may not fill it for you, but he's going to do with the wife, and he's there's a lot of enemies within. There's under his roof that Nucky's going to have to deal with. I think. And he's hot. There you go. So Tammy,
all right.
So Tammy says,
Owen.
But as we know with the Sopranos and these kind of shows, like it's almost like every season or every 2 seasons, like a new nemesis pops up.
Yeah. They're gonna have to work really hard for me, Kevin. Really hard.
All right,
Jimmy did it for her.
Well, we'll all work together.
Okay. I think Margaret's gonna cheat again.
Yeah, you think Margaret is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not going away. That's not going away. What do you guys have?
John, do you have anything?
Go.
I have a promotion.
Yes, that's what I want to hear. Go, baby.
My friend who's a writer on the show, Ed McGinty, made this fabulous video, rap video with Agent Sebso. Remember Sebso in the first season that got killed by
Agent
Van
Sebso.
Alden?
Yes.
And so if you go to tinyurl.com/Sebso, SEBSO, you can see this rap video, and it's on the set and like on the Boardwalk Empire set, and it's just fabulous. And Sebso's rapping, and it's it's just fun for Boardwalk Empire fans.
Can we get Ed McGinty in next season?
We can try, absolutely.
Yeah, we need to talk to some people like
that would be great.
That are deeply involved with this show.
Yeah, he also plays Boss Boyd, I believe. So he's acting on it and writing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of fabulous, right?
Yeah, look that up.
Well, anyway, at Undergaro for me.
At Tamara Jewelry with the sexy voice for now.
At Macedo Music, check it out.
At Bethany with an IE.
John, I'm old school.
At my wit's end.
I'm at my wit's end. No, and you know what, guys? If you're listening to if you're just getting into the show, or just listening to our podcast, feel free to keep sending us your questions, your comments, your thoughts for next year. If there's anything we didn't cover, certainly we can cover it next season when we come back.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna cry, aren't you?
By the way,
Bethany?
no. You know what? Can we say this group?
Yeah.
Let's look forward to Lucky with Dustin Hoffman.
Oh yeah.
I think that's.
I watched the first episode was.
No, that was a sneak. That was a sneak preview.
Was that a sneak preview?
So first episode, I don't know when it's going to be. If it's it's next week or it's in January.
That's
but
fair.
I think this group should transition over. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
I like it. I like
We
it.
can do it.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody, and we will see you next time.
See you
for Boardwalk
next
Empire
season.
when it comes next
season 3. Bye.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.